back with another episode of Dark Maga, where we go over all the trending news, culture, highlights, long-form video that is currently happening all around the world. It's not just restricted to the United States. No, baby, we break borders and boundaries and go global with this bad boy. Now, how does this differ from our morning 6 a.m. podcast? Well, in the morning show, we go over a bunch of different news, and we try to go bitty boppity boop really quickly, so you're kind of geared towards the news day. What we're doing in Dark Maga, we go over a long form video, and however long it takes us, we go through it all, folks. But it's good to see you. Make sure you hit that like button. Good to see you guys in the morning. And now back at it again for this Tuesday Dark Maga. So let's kind of break into the news here on what exactly is going on. We have this from MRC TV, where following Trump's warning, report reveals foreign nationals account for 4 in 10 sex crime arrests in London. Now, this is something we've talked about quite a bit on what's going on over there in Europe, where when you talk about white people being replaced by, another ethnicity, people get kind of like freaked out, right? They think, you're automatically racist and all these other things. The purpose of that statistic is to talk about how you have a culture shift over there in Europe, in London, United Kingdom, Germany, all these other places, and you have Europe imploding right now. The reason for that is not because of people's ethnicity and their races. It's because of the culture that's being immigrated into Europe, and it's pouring into there. And what's happening with these cultures, primarily the Muslim culture, is that they're not assimilating to Western values. And that's understandable in some way, shape, or form, because those Western values don't always fit their narrative. Their ideology. And so they're not there to assimilate. They're there to take hold of the Western economy is what they're doing. So in Scotland Friday, President Donald Trump warned European leaders of the dangers of unfettered mass migration. Correct. And that's something we've talked about. Charlie Kirk is talking about quite a bit on social media. A lot of people are bringing awareness to this. 3 days later, a new report revealed that 4 in 10 of those charged with committing sex crimes in the European Union, capital of London, are foreign nationals. That is wild. And that's only going up, by the way. That statistic is only going up. Quote, we took a lot of bad people that got in the United States with Biden, President Donald Trump told reporters after landing in Scotland, noting that he closed the border and removed dangerous illegal aliens that his predecessor, President Joe Biden, had allowed into this country. Immigration is killing Europe. And I have to agree with him, unfortunately. Now, there are aspects of immigration that can make your country great, but I'm gonna emphasize this again. People need to buy into the culture, the creed, the value that country holds of whatever country they're immigrating to. It doesn't make sense for you to leave the country that is a dumpster fire and then come to a country that is prosperous, and for you to do the exact same thing that destroy the country of which you're leaving from. But people are doing it, and they're doing it in the masses. Quote, but you are allowing it to happen to your countries, and you got to stop this horrible invasion that's happening in Europe. The UK saw a major surge in 2022 and 2023 when small boat crossings reached over 44,000 per year. Now, for us, that's a drop in the bucket, no pun intended, because it talks about a small boat. I mean, we were seeing this, every 10 days, easily? Every 10 days? Now, remember, the UK is a lot smaller than the United States. That's something I think Europe forgets, just how big we are as a nation, as a country. It says here nearly 22,500 people have arrived in the UK so far this year after crossing the English Channel, up 57% of the same point last year. Then on Monday, the Sun United Kingdom reported that 4 in 10 people charged over heinous sex attacks in London are foreign nationals. Folks, these are just the people that were charged. This does not account for crimes that are not ultimately being reported or caught. Citing London Metropolitan Police Service data obtained by the Center for Immigration Control think tank, the Sun reported that a disproportionately high percentage of sex crimes brought since 2018 have been against foreign nationals. I mean, this is the same thing we saw. Let's check this out.
On immigration, you better get your act together, or you're not going to have Europe anymore. You got to get your act together. And we, as you know, last month we had nobody entering our country. Nobody. Shut it down. And we took out a lot of bad people that got there with Biden. Biden was a total stiff. And what he allowed to happen, but you're allowing it to happen to your countries.
Yep.
And you got to stop this horrible invasion that's happening to Europe, many countries in Europe. Some people, some leaders have not let it happen. and they're not getting the proper credit they should. I could name them to you right now, but I'm not going to embarrass the other ones. But stop. This immigration is killing Europe.
These are always interesting stats when you get down here. So there was basically 2,800 non-Brits were charged with sex crimes. 358 of unknown nationals were charged with sex crimes, including 41% of sex crime charges. Excluding unknowns, about 38% of sex crime charges. These are insane statistics. When you get down here, it kind of reveals a little bit of a similar data that we have. While foreigners make up 9% of the population, they account for 16.1% of all total number of arrests, according to the figures, meaning you're starting to double that amount. This is something that statistic kind of gets brought up with black people, where they make up about 13% of the population, but commit about 50% of the homicides and stuff like that. Now, mind you, that statistic also rolls into white people, where white people make up virtually the other 45, 50%, right? I'm using very loose numbers here. It's something we talk about in Trojan Horse, how the left is destroying America. But you should not see that. I'm not saying that it should be an equal proportion, but you should not have a low population committing a mass amount of crimes. If you do, then that is when the profiling or discrimination takes place. And that's how stereotypes get revealed, is because there's a shred of truth to it, that when you have a high percentage of crime be committed by a percentage of population, well, then when you see that low percentage of a population doing something, the odds are that you have an increased likelihood of them committing some sort of crime against you. And so that's why people are a little bit utilizing, whether it's racial profiling or discrimination, when they see certain populations, because they commit a mass amount of, or a lot of crime. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just bringing about observation. And when you bring about observation, people automatically say you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're all these name callings, when you're just dealing with reality. Now, I hope that reality changes, because I don't want crime to still be happening. But, just because I say that I don't want it doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? So let's see what else is in the news here. We have more details and live updates emerging from the shooter in New York City. So let's kind of go through this. I haven't seen what's been going on here. So let's just go from the fast facts real quick. So a lone gunman identified as Shane Tamura walked into a Midtown Manhattan building, which we know, and deleted about 4 people, including himself. The 4 people in the shooting were identified as an NYPD officer, and then a security guard, and it looks like an associate, unfortunately. So terrible for them and their families. So it's always nice to throw a prayer out this evening for them and their families. Those that passed on, it's always great also to throw a prayer to them to make sure they're in the kingdom of heaven. Now, the motive for the shooting remains unclear, but the gunman reportedly had a grievance with the NFL, blaming the sport of football for apparent issues with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE. I'm probably mispronouncing that, forgive me, but a side effect from repeated hits to the head. The New York Police Commissioner, Jessica, revealed that the NYCD high-rise shooter worked an overnight security job at the Las Vegas casino before he carried out the attack. Tamura didn't show up for work at the Horseshoe Las Vegas on Sunday. Wow, he drove all the way from Vegas to New York City? Damn. Tamura had a suicide note on him in which he claimed he suffered from CTE, a degenerative brain condition linked to repeated head trauma, possibly from playing high school football. He was angry at the NFL, and that may have been his target. I mean, CTE or not, even if you had it, you're still kind of deranged, man. To drive all the way across the country like that and delete a bunch of people for something that we're not even so sure he has. I heard that he left a note, and the reason why he didn't shoot himself in the head was because he wanted them to study his brain, basically. Now, is that true or not? Hell, I don't know, but that's what I heard. He also mentioned a Fortnite documentary on CTE and several NFL players that suffered from the disease. There you go. So he studied my brain. I'm sorry, in his suicide note. Well, you didn't have to go delete a bunch of people for them to study your brain. I mean, I'm not saying anybody should do this, but there was no reason to go delete a bunch of innocent people if you felt that your brain was off. You could have just done this stupid act. I don't think anybody should do this. I'm going to clarify this again 1,000 times. If you're ever having any of these thoughts, call a hotline. There's people that love you. A lot of people that love you. Do not do anything stupid. But there's no reason to go delete a bunch of people because you said your brain is off and your brain is weird. That is stupid and evil and horrific. So I don't want to hear this. Oh, I'm sorry. Nah, doesn't mean shit to me. She said he used an AR-15 style rifle. There we go again. It's like everything's an AR-15 style rifle, right? God. An associate of Tamira's helped him buy the parts for the gun. So, based on how things are going nowadays, it almost seems like if you help somebody assemble a firearm and they use it in a mass tragedy, now you're held responsible or liable in some way, shape, or form. So I wouldn't be surprised if this associate got brought in. There you go. Police have located that associate and have questioned him. It wouldn't be surprised if maybe the family brought charges against this associate. That wouldn't surprise me. Maybe even the city of New York. Detectives are traveling to Las Vegas where they will search Tamira's home and visit the gun store where he legally purchased a revolver. I don't know why you need to go. I don't know what you're going to find at the gun store. If he legally purchased it, from my understanding, he had a concealed carry license as well. So the medical examiner conducts autopsies, determine the cause of death for the victim. So here we go on this one. The New York City office of the chief medical examiner determined that the manner of death for all 4 people were fatally shot. The bodies of the 4 people, as well as the shooter, were examined Tuesday. Islam died from a gunshot wound to the torso and upper left extremity, while the other 3 victims died from gunshot wounds to the torso. Tamira also died from a gunshot wound to the torso, and his manner of death was ruled a suicide. The medical examiner said study of the brain known as neuropathology is part of the complete autopsy procedure. So just terrible what happened to these individuals. So, I mean, we got a massive mental illness problem in this country, that's for sure. And I think, now this is just, obviously when I say I think, my opinion, and it could very well be wrong. I think a lot of people have lost purpose. I think a lot of people do not have a direction on what to do in life. And I think that is one of the main reasons in terms of why we have so much mental illness, is because people have no purpose. They don't know what to do. What is life about? Why am I going on this direction? What is the meaning? Why even bother getting out of bed? Why even wake up in the morning? I mean, it's all meaningless anyways. When you have that type of perception in life, that leads you down a very dark path. Now, I don't struggle with depression, thank God. Doesn't mean I've never been depressed. It doesn't ever mean that I haven't struggled with something before. But I always wake up in the morning trying to find purpose in my life. And it doesn't mean I always do. That's one of the reasons for the Bald Brad Show. It gives me purpose. I get to hang out with you fine people. I get to do something. I get to create something. There's a reason why I also had a restore and repair channel. If you haven't checked that out, that has, those videos have over 100,000 views. That channel was doing very well during COVID. That gave me purpose. Me reading books, I find purpose in that. Find the scripture, the Bible. I mean, your purpose should be to follow and dwell with God. I mean, that should be your main purpose in life. If you're not doing that, why don't you start there? It goes so many different directions, but to go and delete somebody for some said problem that you're dealing with is just evil, and it's wrong. And again, it's passing the blame on to somebody else that never did anything in the first place. There's also this that took place. There was an individual that was taken down on a airline for threatening to blow it up. So this is what that looked like. Give me one moment. Get this queued up for you here. It's very quick. Rip to your eardrums if it's too loud. Oh. There we go.
Yeah, craziness. Dealing death to our president. All that stuff. Thankfully, these brave guys tackled him. This passenger was threatening to blow up the plane, threatening the country, the president, as I said. Then other passengers, they tackled him. They held this guy down. It happened on Sunday on a flight from London to Glasgow during the president's visit to Scotland. So that's not good. The plane landed safely. The passenger was taken into custody, and officials say there were no explosives on board. But obviously, very scary for all of these passengers, and good for those guys for jumping in and taking some action and responsibility.
So, yeah, I mean, good on those guys. Again, it goes down to the men doing their job, standing up and making sure everybody's safe. It was a big guy that they took down, or what looked to be a big guy. And the men stood up on the plane just as they should have. They, we don't know if that guy had anything on him, and they risked their life to subdue the guy. So good on them, keeping people safe. And that's what men are supposed to do. Some other news here. Trump, again, issues that 10-day deadline to Putin to end the war. We got a little bit on that here as we go forward here.
Up his UK trip with the grand opening of his new golf course in Scotland after solidifying a massive trade deal with the EU and tightening a deadline on Putin.
So one, it's Turnberry, but now they have two courses. Peter Doocy joins us live from the White House with the latest. Peter.
Good morning, and President Trump has realized that 50 days is too many days to give Vladimir Putin to lay down his arms in Ukraine, because Putin is showing that he's just going to pummel the Ukrainians until that deadline. So President Trump is shrinking the timeline.
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. There's no reason in waiting.
Yep.
There's no reason in waiting.
Thank you, Mr. President.
50
Finally.
days. I want to be generous, but we just don't see any progress being made.
Well, the longer you wait, more people die.
Why wait? And it would be sanctions and maybe tariffs, secondary tariffs.
Those secondary tariffs would be on superpowers like China and India and Brazil, who buy things from Russia that Russia then uses to fund its war effort. The word from the Kremlin and Dmitry Medvedev is ominous. Quote, Trump's playing the ultimatum game with Russia, 50 days or 10. He should remember two things. One, Russia isn't Israel or even Iran. Two, each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with his own country. Don't go down the Sleepy Joe road.
Wow.
The president emphasizes he loves the Russian people, but he's not so interested in talking with Putin anymore. And he seemed to be in good spirits, cutting the ribbon at the newest Trump International Golf Resort in Scotland.
It's going to be a special day, and it's going to be a special year, and it's going to be a special decade. And we're going to make all of our countries strong and great and really wonderful again. And that's happening, and it's happening very fast.
And the president believes he can end hot wars with trade wars. He thinks that trade was the incentive for India and Pakistan to end their conflict a few months ago, and more recently for Cambodia and Thailand to end their conflict. Now he is going to try that with Russia and Ukraine. Back to you.
So, Peter, I see South Korea is making a last-ditch effort to get in front of the president between August 1st, the deadline. Do you see anyone else rushing to grab the president before he leaves Scotland or setting up a meeting in the U.S.?
It's tough to tell because they say that they've got 200 deals. We don't know, though, if any more of those, other than the South Koreans, are going to be individual deals, or if President Trump is going to do what he said is the end result for people that don't negotiate, which is just the whole world gets a tariff, a new tariff, and he says it'll be in the 15 to 20% range. But the South Koreans, they saw this EU trade deal, and they sent a delegation from Seoul to Scotland to meet with Howard Lutnick after dinner. Just, we need some FaceTime, Commerce Secretary Lutnick.
Instead of FaceTime.
They got it.
Yeah, face-to-face time, not actual FaceTime. Appreciate it, Peter.
Right.
Peter. And by the way, I thought India was going to be next. I thought Japan would be harder. So it's Japan, the EU, maybe South Korea, and then India. Then you got to figure Canada and Mexico. I know we have to update the USMCA, but are they going to wait? Are they just going to take the 15%?
But I just find it so interesting. So I'm watching all the coverage yesterday in the Quiet Box, and you see all the networks and their coverage of it. And they're kind of downplaying it, Ainsley, not giving the president. The reporters on the ground, though, giving the president credit because they realize over there in the EU, they're all criticizing their world leaders because they're saying Trump steamrolled them. And Bill Maher kind of feels the same way.
The tariffs are working.
Yeah.
And we've highlighted this over the last few weeks. We actually had a surplus last month from all the money that was brought in that America made. And that was the first time in a very long time we've seen that happen. And Bill Maher, and we love watching his show. So
we've seen the Bill Maher clip quite a bit here, about 2 or 3 times. Heck, we watched it, I believe, either over the weekend or last week. But Bill Maher's mentioning that he was wrong about tariffs. Now, again, tariffs is a tax upon all of us. We're paying more for a good or service, whatever's being provided here that's being imported in. Now, normally it's a good, right? Well, it's the cost of the good itself, and generally that cost is passed down onto the consumer. Now, the way that doesn't happen is if both sides negotiate, and I'm not talking about the president, I'm talking about actual business owners and suppliers saying, hey, we'll go ahead and eat about 3%. That's the best we can do. Maybe you try to eat 5%. So now instead of paying a 15% tariff on that import, now you're paying a little bit less. Sometimes you can cut that in half. Now that could be distributed in various ways. But and that could be recouped in other ways as well. But usually, how other ways that would be like maybe you have to fire somebody at the office, or you have to let somebody go in the warehouse. Maybe you increase your automation so that you can lower the cost of what it is to actually produce the product. Maybe you become more efficient, and that way you can produce the product more efficiently. That makes it for the cheaper the product to actually be produced. Whatever it is, but you most likely are just going to pass it on to all of us. So that's going to make things more expensive for whatever's being importing. But things are so expensive for what's being created here in the United States, you have to compete with everybody else around the world. Well, if you're pulling like a China, where not only are you subsidizing certain industries, you're also messing with your own currency. You're devaluing it. And you're also just having extremely cheap labor. Well, when you bring that over here, that cost of that good is going to be vastly cheaper than what we're producing, because we pay people $30 an hour to scoop food onto a plate, which is ridiculous, by the way. The same people are always complaining about things being so expensive. That's why you have all these restaurants closing down around the nation, are the same people that wanted higher minimum wages. So now that you're complaining about food so expensive, yeah, it's so expensive because the guy that's handing it to you scooped it onto a plate with a spoon, and you want $30 an hour to give him for that. And then you also have to tip him as well. So these same people are complaining are the same people that wanted it to happen. It's always mind-blowing to me that they're never able to see that connection. So you have to be able to compete against China and all these other countries where their good is being sold here for cheaper. Well, when you increase it at a 15% tax, and let's just say that entire 15% gets passed on to you guys, well, now you're going to be looking, well, maybe I just want to buy a Ford. Maybe I don't want to buy a Mercedes, or maybe I don't want to buy a Toyota anymore. Maybe I want to buy a Ford. It's American muscle, American made in air quotes, because we know stuff comes from different countries. So maybe I should just go ahead and buy America to support my own country rather than Toyota or Mercedes or whatever. It doesn't matter, Volkswagen. So that's the purpose behind it, where now you're competing on the world stage. Yeah, everything's more expensive, but you'd rather hopefully buy American than somebody else's stuff. Won't always be the case. Maybe you just don't have the money for it and you need a set item that you're purchasing. So we have that there for all of you as well. So if you're enjoying what you're hearing, make sure you hit that like button. We do this each and every Tuesday, Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Gives us an opportunity to do something a little bit different, reach a broader audience that maybe is not awake or able to reach us in the morning. You also had this take place. This was odd. This was a really weird lapse in the Secret Service. So Secret Service agent on Trump's detail tried to sneak his wife onto the plane to Scotland. Now this, when it says a weird deal, I believe Trump's the one that said that. It really is just really, really weird. Is there a clip here? No clip. Okay. Check this out. So President Donald Trump confirmed on Tuesday that the Secret Service director, Sean Curran, is addressing what could have been a major security breach after an agent attempted to sneak his wife aboard a transport plane accompanying the president to Scotland. Now you might think, well, it's just his wife. I mean, what's the big deal here? Well, if you listen to how they did it, this could lead into somebody sneaking onto the plane, being brought on by a Secret Service agent that maybe goes rogue and brings an explosive, and well, there goes Air Force One, there goes the President of the United States, and maybe some cabinet members too. The incident was first reported by Real Clear Politics, who we love here. That's where Peter Ducey's from. National political correspondent Susan Crabtree. Over the weekend, the USS Dallas agent reportedly flew his wife, a member of the U.S. Air Force, to Maryland, and she received an official Secret Service briefing on the trip as well. The agent's wife, check this out, listen carefully. The agent's wife then rode a bus to the Distinguished Visitor Lounge at the Joint Andrews, where she finally discovered and was told to leave, Crabtree reported, citing 5 Secret Service sources. Trump told reporters on Air Force One on his way back to the United States on Tuesday that the Secret Service incident was a weird deal. Real Clear Politics reporter Philip Wegman, who's our boy here on the show, wouldn't you think that might be a little dangerous? The president said that he had confidence Director Curran would take care of it. Well, it doesn't really exactly answer the question. That's extremely dangerous. If somebody got onto the plane and flew around and didn't really know that that person was on the plane, what's stopping again from a foreign actor paying off a Secret Service agent or whatever to get them on the plane? And now you got an Air Force One Harrison Ford situation. Get off my damn plane. The agent who attempted to bring his wife along for the president's trip to Europe is reportedly in her first year on the job, which means he is still a new trainee. What an idiot. Fire him immediately. The agent has reportedly been in trouble before, and he was written up for the misconduct on several occasions. Immediate fire. The Secret Service spokesperson So the agency has opened an investigation into the conduct and into the incident. Yeah, but just go ahead and fire him on the spot, please. Yeah, just immediately. Quote, prior to the overseas departure, the employee was advised by supervisors that such action was prohibited, and the spouse was subsequently prevented from taking the flight. No Secret Service protectees were aboard, and there was no impact to our overseas protection operations. It's unclear if the agent has been suspended as the Secret Service conducts an investigation or is still on the job. I heard reports that she was going to be in some sort of compartment, and that we don't even know if that compartment is pressurized. And, you know, that stuff at certain elevations, that will kill you, man. The temperature in there will delete you. So you got to be careful. Not a smart move. Secret Service has another lapse once again, which is not exactly what anybody wants to hear, especially after Donald Trump had that couple assassination attempts on his life. Nobody absolutely at all wants to hear that. We have a new EPA announces. And this is actually good news. I know, surprising. We never get any good news from the EPA, but right now we're actually going to get some. So this is always great to see. The EPA announces a plan at a press conference Tuesday that the agency would begin rolling back Obama-era policies that have allowed the federal government to heavily regulate vehicle emissions and more. The new rule reverses the endangerment finding, a 2009 decision that classifies gases like methane and carbon dioxide as detrimental to the environment and people's health. Based on the rule, the EPA was able to justify regulating emissions standards across all industries under the Clean Air Act. This kind of goes into what I was talking about when I was a public accountant. I always share that Manifold thing, that company that would audit. This would be what they were under as well. This has been referred to as basically driving a wow. Hello! I promise this is just Coke Zero. I swear. A drag, a danger, a dagger into the heart of the climate change religion. The rule would repeal all resulting greenhouse gas emissions regulations for motor vehicles and engines, thereby reinstating consumer choice and giving Americans the ability to purchase a safe and affordable car for their family while decreasing the cost of living on all products that trucks deliver. So the hope is that when you remove these regulations, the hope is that those regulations will make the cost of whatever you're producing a lot cheaper. So we'll see. I mean, people have already spent a ton of money, fabricating certain machinery to produce certain goods in a way that is meeting the EPA standards. So I'm not so sure they'll revert back. The only way I see them reverting back is if it's cheaper to do so. I'm not so sure it is, because some of these manufacturers have completely altered their manufacturing facilities themselves to produce goods that meet these standards. Now, it's not always some little thing you can just take off, right? No, sir. Something else the media is completely losing their minds over here is the Sweeney commercial. This is something we covered on TikTok. It is going viral. She's a rocket, and the controversy surrounds her and her chest now. So before, it was all about the what do you call it? The genes themselves, right? My genes are blue, while the voiceover says Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Now, people are saying, again, this is racist. This is so fascist. Look at what people are doing. Oh, bringing back the Nazi rhetoric once again because she's white, blonde, blue eyes. She is hot. That is why it's a pun. It's supposed to be a laughable joke, but because the progressive left aren't able to laugh and joke anymore, which is why there's not a lot of progressive lefties that are comedians. And if they are, they're just not funny. She has great genes because, one, she's wearing a great pair of jeans, and two, she's hot. And I find it a little interesting. Let me see if I could find the clips for you really quickly here. I find it so fascinating that these same people that are complaining about this are also just like the ugliest people in the world as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and play a few clips here once they load. But let's see the actual trailer itself really quickly. Here we go.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
And again, eyes are blue. That was passed down from her parents. Blue jeans, blue eyes, looks good. It's a really well-crafted commercial. And this is old school Americana. You got a girl that's a rocket. She's fire. She's hot. Look, it doesn't matter. You could have done this with a black person. You could have done it with an Asian person. It doesn't matter to me. It's just a good video. So an MSNBC op-ed said the American Eagle ads were evidence of the unbridled cultural shift towards whiteness, which the author suggested was ugly and startling. So white people can't be in ads anymore, you guys. Isn't that just fun? Yep, you can't be in any more ads. I'm going to tell you right now, I was told by somebody that worked in one of the big agencies out there in the talent agency world. You know, you have like CAAA, you have, oh God, can't even remember the name anymore. WME, I think is what it is. Let's just say one of the big talent agencies said, we're not going to hire you, not because you're not good at acting, but because you're white. Yep. Now that didn't take place in their building. That took place on a sidebar conversation I had with somebody, but literally told me this was about 2018, 2019-ish, I want to say. Straight to my face, you would not get picked up because you're a white. At least they were honest with me. The internet has been quick to condemn the advertisements as non-inclusive at best and as overtly promoting white supremacy and Nazi propaganda at worst. So just so you know, there's the receipts for you. Whiteness is ugly. This is the ideology of the left. Opinion. Cindy Sweeney's ad shows an unbridled culture shift towards whiteness. By the way, it would actually make sense to be able to see a lot of white people in media because proportionately there's a lot of white people. Now, this doesn't spread across everywhere. Let me just give you an example really quick. Majority of the United States is still considered white, right? Your skin is white. Well, when you have the majority of a population that is white, then walking around just naturally, you walking, not even talking about TV, you just walking around naturally, you would expect to see more white people than black people or Asians and other ethnicities. Now, it depends where you're at. Some people just have disproportionately more black people than there are whites. So you'd expect to see more black people. There's like, if I was to go up to Watts in LA, right? Not that I would, but there's disproportionately more black people than there are white people. I believe that statistic is correct. Somebody might correct me on that and forgive me if I'm wrong. But if there's more black people in said area than white people, then it wouldn't be weird for me to see more black people because, again, there's more of them. Well, if there's more white people in the population, then on television, it would actually seem or should seem natural to you to see more white people on television than black and Asian. Does that mean you shouldn't see black or Asian people or other ethnicities on there or Indian? No, that's not what I'm saying. I think, you know, if your talent is good and you have merit and you're good at what you do, then hell, be on there for all you want. But to go after her because her skin color is crazy to me.
Time to check the pulse. We begin with the backlash over a new ad campaign featuring actress Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, the ads are for American Eagle, and the tagline is, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Now, in one ad, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed actress talks about genes as in DNA being passed down from her parents.
The play on words is being compared to Nazi propaganda with racial undertones.
The pun, good genes, activates troubling historical associations for this country. The American eugenics movement in its prime between like 1900 and 1940 weaponized the idea of good genes just to justify white supremacism.
Despite that backlash, American Eagle...
It's seriously, it's exhausting. I'm sure it's all exhausting to you as well. Oh, because you can make some sort of reference to the Nazis, which you can almost do on any aspect of your life. Now, all of a sudden, you have to push this. It's just ridiculous. Their stock went up 20%, by the way. They're not hurting. American Eagle is not hurting from this. If anything, they're accelerating. If anybody was smart, they would have looked at what American Eagle did and replicate that. You'd be an idiot not to. I mean, you saw what happened with Bud Light. I mean, there was a reversal, right? Bud Light just imploded, but then now you have American Eagle just blowing up. They're doing great. A writer posted on Instagram that the campaign is promoting eugenics and Nazi propaganda, and it's blatant. The person said, like, you don't even need media literacy. It's on the nose obvious. Okay, sure it is. Well, you're an idiot. Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to what you have to say. Your head is so far up here. You know what? Another woman criticized American Eagle. Sweeney in the ad. Let's see this.
Did American Eagle just run an ad for eugenics?
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
Totally just talking about denim, right? Just a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman explaining how her good genes gave her personality and purity. I mean, are we really...
I think somebody's jealous. By the way, she's not actually that bad looking, the lady that's actually doing this video. But I think she's just jealous because she's a rocket. She's hot.
Really going to pretend that this isn't a little fashy coded? Look, I'm not saying that Sydney Sweeney personally wrote this ad to revive the Third Reich, but American Eagle absolutely knew what they were doing here. You don't get to drop lines about inherited traits, blue eyes, and great genes while zooming in on somebody that could have walked straight off of a Nazi propaganda poster and expect people not to catch that reference. Good genes used to mean racial purity in fascist circles, and now it's just denim marketing.
Can I mention something really quick? And I'm going to give you my honest take. When I watch the ad, hand to God, any sort of Nazism or anything, fascism, anything political, by the way, never crossed my mind. Ever. What the first thing I thought of was, okay, she's smoking hot. I know who she is. Wow, those jeans look good on her. And then I watched her get into a Ford Mustang, and I was like, that car's badass. And I walked away going, this is a really cool commercial. And I picked up on it. I kind of laughed when she made the jeans reference to her jeans. I was like, yeah, it makes sense to me. I didn't pick up on like, oh, this is like some Rise of the Third Reich stuff. Like, come on.
You're watching fascist aesthetics sneak back into pop culture through fashion ads, trad wife influencers, and yes, now blue jeans.
Tell me this chick is divorced and that her husband's paying alimony right now and that she doesn't really even have a job.
If you think this was an innocent ad, you have not been paying attention.
Oh, yeah. You're not even, she's going to tell you guys haven't been paying attention, huh? Okay. Oh, here we are. Oh, boy. Everybody really quick. Take a break if you need so. Take a pee-pee break. Take me with you if you need. Some of you, oddly enough, are probably sitting on the toilet watching me right now. You gross sickos. Now, she might be sitting on the toilet too. So, been a while since we've done one of these. Okay, folks, we used to do this stuff all the time, reacting to these video clips like this all the time. Go back to my old stuff. This is nothing new. We've been doing this for years. Just, we haven't done it in a couple of years. We took a little bit of a breaky from ourselves, and you can probably tell why. But we're back. We're back in the hot seat, baby. Here we go.
I will be the friend that's too woke because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird.
My body's composition
Look at that,
is
boys.
determined by my...
Hold on a second. There you go. Take it in. Take it in.
My genes. Hey.
What?
No. Eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeney
She caught us. She knows.
has very genes.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color,
Jesus!
personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
By the way, I have no problems watching this ad over and over again. This is more for the boys than it is the ladies, but there's some ladies in here that can get a little bit of, some pointers from this.
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making...
It's bugging me that her nose ring is not even centered. It's really bugging me. My OCD, dude.
fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda. I also am thinking about like all of the young girls who are doing their back to school shopping right now at places like American Eagle who are seeing ads like this.
Everybody's buying it up.
Yikes. Also, American Eagle is mostly a brand that like teenagers to like young adults shop at, and so the fact that like this type of advertising is being used that feels so for the male gaze and so over sexualized, like
I actually disagree with that. Let me see if they have the clip here. They don't have okay, so I'll let her finish. That's what she said. Where were we?
Of advertising is being used that feels so for the male gaze and so over sexualized. Like I just don't like it. I don't like it even a little bit. Bro, and I haven't even mentioned the fact that this entire ad campaign that Sydney Sweeney is doing right now is incredibly reminiscent to the Brooke Shields Calvin Klein jeans ad campaign that she did when she was 14 years old. That was extremely over.
I just want to pause this really quick. So this was the ad that I saw initially, right? And my first impression was on the jeans, I was like, well, I mean, obviously this is sexualized, you know, he's showing the breasts and the cleavage and all that other stuff in front of a hot Mustang. This is what guys love, man. This is like reminiscent of Megan Fox and Transformers with Shia LaBeouf, just a total firecracker, right? So this is what guys love. I mean, women want to look good in front of men. And I'm sure women want to look good in front of their friends too. But here was my first impression. I was like, oh, those aren't very form-fitting. I was like, those are kind of baggy. That's not very, like, to me, that's not very sexualized. Personally, and I'm giving you the honest take when I first saw this. This is the first ad that I saw. I go, oh, I was expecting these to be a little bit more, you know, form-fitting. I was like, okay, they're going back to the waist-high, you know, kind of pants that the ladies used to wear, probably in the 80s and 90s, where you got the high-waist jeans coming up. And she gets into the Mustang.
Has very keen.
So I don't want to say it's overly sexualized. I mean, there's her laying down. I mean, you could have made it way more, to be honest. She could have just been wearing a bra and jeans. And I think we all would have loved that as well. Hell, I mean, sure, a lot of us are hoping for that.
Sexualized and weird? Yeah. Why are we referencing that?
I think there's a little bit of jealousy coming from this woman that she's upset that she doesn't look like Sweeney. She could. If you worked out, I'm not beating up for her looks. I mean, she's obese. That's for sure. By the way, I'm obese, just to let you know. I've said this yesterday. I am technically obese according to the data, right? Because I'm about 5'10", and then I weigh 210 pounds. So I'm technically obese. I'm supposed to be like 180. I don't look overweight. If you saw like my proportions, I just carry it well. But she's just a little jealous, and that's, you know, a trans flag in the back. Yeah, so says everything you need.
Why are we referencing that? I thought we agreed that was weird that they had her do that. So we got a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman talking about her good jeans in an ad campaign that is a reference to a 14-year-old Brooke Shields, Calvin Klein's ad campaign that we've all agreed was really weird and predatory.
This is what they do, man. They think so far into this stuff, and it's exhausting. Now, here is the here's the market for American Eagle, up 25%. So a lot of people disagree with you, lady. A lot of people do. Matter of fact, I'm kind of curious what the market is at on it right now. Let's take a little peek in real time. The market's closed, but let's see what it closed at here for American Eagle. American Eagle Outfitters. Here we go. It looks like their stock actually went down today, but 1 month. Yeah, it did actually dip a little bit. So let's go to this here. So right here was the news yesterday. So this is where they get kind of a backlash a little bit. So it looks like the price did drop a little bit. Dropped about 50 something cents. Yeah, right there. But they're still up. They're still up quite a bit here, about 16%, 16.7%. So it looks like some people dropped off because of the news. I mean, that's what happens, right? You know, stuff takes hold. But I mean, this could have been anybody, right? You could have went with Tyra Banks, right? When she was a model. I would have no qualms with Tyra Banks being part of all this. I mean, she was hot. You know what I mean? I mean, why is this not over-sexualized? This could have been the very same thing, right? Tyra Banks, she is gorgeous. She could have been in there and said the exact same thing. I mean, you literally didn't have to change anything other than maybe making reference to the eye color, because the eye color was blue and so are the jeans. But you could have written this in any different direction and had her do all this. But this is over-sexualized. This is a black woman, by the way. And she's hot. She's hot. I would have no problems having Tyra Banks right now, doing this. No qualms. But, oh, you're pushing Nazi propaganda because a white girl's on there, blah, blah, blah. It's like, give me a break. It's exhausting, man. The race stuff is just so exhausting. But that's what they do. That's what they want to push. Because if you could push that, right? What are you pushing? You're pushing division once again. And when you push division, you got to pick a side. And the side that you're on, you want to win. Now, that's the progressive left. It ain't working well for them, by the way. And I don't mind them still pushing it. And I'll tell you why, is because we're just going to keep winning from it. Absolutely, Patriots. We're going to keep winning from it because they keep pushing this psycho rhetoric that we're divided as a country. Race is a big issue when it's not. You want to see what race really looks like in terms of racism? Just go to another country. Go to another country. Go to any Asian country, by the way, as a black person, and let me know how that one works out for you. Because you're going to get a lot of stares, a lot of weird looks, and they're going to treat you poorly. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen here, because it does, but not to the same capacity, that's for sure. Not at all. Now, this is an example of the left here for you. CNN, where there's an active photo of a black person, and then they tell you it's a white guy wearing sunglasses with a mustache. That's what they'll tell you. What channel are these ads on? Because it's not regular TV. You get them on YouTube. You've seen the ads run sometimes when I go to Fox News. Fox News will run ads. You get ads on here as well. Sometimes, like in between, people will post ads on stuff. Like if I was to go to Explore, let's see if there's an example of me scrolling down. It's hard to tell on some of them, but I'll actually say like somewhere right here, like an advertisement. So yeah, they pop up anywhere. Sometimes you'll get them on your website, stuff like that. So they do pop up. Mostly a lot of advertising is done on YouTube nowadays and on Google. But anywho, we have here American Jeans needs to put a gorgeous Hispanic or black lady, and then they'll shut those complaints right down. Yeah, but you know what they're going to do, right? Oh, look at them. They're just trying to make it seem like they're not racist by putting in a black or Hispanic person. Not everything needs to be a Coca-Cola commercial, right? I always say that whenever I see like a family. You'll see this all the time, especially like Disneyland when you're at downtown Disney or something like that. You guys seen it at the bus stops where they have the picture of the family, right? Whole family photo. There's like a white father, black wife, one kid's like white, and then the other kid's Asian. And it has nothing to do with Coca-Cola, but Coca-Cola is known to do that in their commercials. And I always point it out like, oh, there's just basically a Coca-Cola ad, because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. And look, it's sad that I don't know if you guys reach this point, but you kind of set almost other races up for failure in a way, just mentally. And I'll tell you why. Is because when I grew up, you had Denzel Washington, you had, oh God, what's the guy that played Darth Vader? I can't remember his name. But you had a lot of black actors growing up. And I never thought, oh, they're in this role because they're black. I never thought that growing up. Matter of fact, not until most recently. But now when I see a black person in a lead role, or I see a woman in a lead role, or like a woman of color, I'm like, did they get that role because they're good at acting? Or did they get that role because of the color of their skin? And it's sad that you have that nowadays, because before it never crossed my mind. Not up until like maybe 5 years ago, when they really started heavily pushing this stuff. And it's kind of like that with everything nowadays. Like, are you just pushing this whole thing because what's been going on, or you just want, the Me Too movement and the, making everything equal proportion? It's sad, and I don't think that should be the case. I think if you're a good actor and you fit that role, you should be having that role. But, it's just, you guys know what I mean. It's a little bit odd to me, a little bit odd. But, you're deemed a racist and a bigot if you say stuff like this. It's like, okay, geez, whatever. Like, it gets to the point where it doesn't mean anything, which is sad. I mean, racism's evil. Racism is terrible. I just personally, I've always said this, you guys know me. I don't care what you are. As long as you're living a good life, you're doing everything you're supposed to, I got no problems with you. You leave me alone, I leave you alone. Go on your merry way, live a good life, and I wish you nothing but the success, the utmost success. Can care less I can care less where you're from, what you're doing. You want to assimilate into this country, make this country great. You want your family and your community to prosper. I got no problems with you. I can care less if you're black, Hispanic, Asian. Doesn't mean anything to me. Literally nothing. All righty. Let's see what else we have here in the news. If you're liking what you're hearing, make sure you hit that like button. Really appreciate all the help that you guys can give me on that end. Let's see here. Beth says during Vietnam, a lot of Asian women married black U.S. soldiers to get to the U.S. Dizzy says this is the left's attempt to pay back for Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah, baby. Yep, that could very well be true. Merit only. Yep. Well, okay, to be fair, Keith, I know what you mean. To be fair, merit can't always apply when you're doing castings. For example, yeah, I mean, it does. It's one of the variables in the equation, but at some level there is race involved, right? Because maybe you're trying to cast for a black person, and that's, you wouldn't put a white person in blackface, kind of like you did with Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, even though that character was supposed to be like that. So, like, for example, if we were to do a Martin Luther King movie, you wouldn't, hire me to be Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? You'd hire a black guy, and the black guy hopefully would be the other black guys because he has merit, and his merit is that he's a good actor. So there is some aspect to it in the entertainment industry. But kind of like what they were doing by basically switching any white role with a black role was very frustrating. It's like, okay, we know what you did. It's right there in the open, which sucks because you go watch movies to escape. You go watch movies to try to get away from what's going on out there in the real world. At least I do. And it's tough because when you go see, whether it's really any Disney movie nowadays, when you go see these Disney movies, it's right out there in the open. It's like, okay, well, you put that person in the role because of their race. They're a great singer. Like you had with that Little Mermaid woman. She's a phenomenal actress and a great singer, but it just takes you completely out of it. Because you're like, okay, well, one, you don't look like Ariel. We all grew up with Ariel. We know what she looks like. So it's not an escape anymore. I'm just watching you shove cultural ideology, this left woke cultural ideology down my throat. I'm just not into it. And then they'll throw in little references, right, that weren't in the original film. You saw the same thing with Snow White. By the way, Snow White was the first film me and my wife ever walked out of. Now, not me personally. I walked out of films before. I could maybe count on like 2 fingers. We were on a vacation. Like, oh, okay, it's playing on the ship. Let's go watch it. And I was like, okay, like I'll sacrifice for my wife. Like we're not going to do everything that I want to do, right? So I was I know I was willing to take the hit, man, and I was going to sit there. It's a long film. I was going to watch the whole damn thing, and I was going to have a smile on my face, and I wasn't going to make a peep. About 20 minutes in, I see my wife get a little fidgety in the chair. And I look over, I'm like, hey, are you all right? She's like, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm like, okay. A little weird. Normally she's still, man. She's a quiet little girl. And she kept fidgeting and she leans over. She's like, I think I want to leave. And I was like, huh? Like what? I thought maybe she was sick. She's never said that, man. She's not a complainer. And I was like, are you all right? She's like, no, I don't like this movie. It sucks. I was like, okay. I was like, you really want to go? I go, look, I'll sit through this, please. I'm not doing it. Because I didn't want that whole thing of like, oh, well, I saw you weren't into it, so it made me not into it. I didn't want any of that. So I was good. I was on my A game. It was her, man. She didn't want to watch it. So we left it. And by the way, it sucked. Now, I'll give you my honest take on what I saw. Terrible movie. Like, dude, it sucks. But here's the thing. Rachel Ziegler is hot. Okay? She's hot. She's a great singer. And honestly, she's a good actress. I don't like her political opinions, but I can actually watch a movie and remove somebody's political opinions and still enjoy the film to a certain extent. It doesn't matter who would have been in that film. It would have been just a crap film. So she was set up. She set herself up for failure, to be honest. But so did the people that filmed it. It wasn't actually just a bad movie. All righty. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have in the news. I'm scrolling through. Man, it is such like a... I'll give you an example, you guys. I've actually haven't seen this in a long time. Look at this. Remember when we ended our show earlier this morning and I showed you guys the today's news? And I said very rarely is it all 3 news stories the exact same that are trending. I also want to point out, it is also rare that the same 3 news stories are still here and we're almost at the end of the day. That shows you how dead the news cycle is, man. There is nothing going on right now. I mean, we're doing some slim pickings here, if you know what I mean. This is, by the way, this is what makes my job difficult as a hobby, is when you're like, okay, there's like one news story. What the hell do I talk about? what do I fill the Patriots in on? There is nothing going on here. Do you know what I mean? That part is really, really difficult. Ben says, we all one blood. Exactly. It's if you remove yourself from like race, it really, I mean, life is phenomenal. Now there's certain stereotypes with races, don't get me wrong. And there's always a shred of proof to it, right? There's always a shred of truth. But you know, I don't mind being around any people. I mean, it also helps like growing up in California, right? Especially Southern California, where you're surrounded by everybody. Like, I'll tell you what, it's hard because people don't believe me when I say it. Like, one of my coworkers was Asian, like one of my besties, my coworker besties. We still go out to get drinks till this day. We still talk to each other all the time, like every week. And he hasn't been working there for like a couple of years. And he's an Asian guy. I grew up with Asians. I grew up with Mexicans. I grew up with, half my family is actually Mexican by marriage, believe it or not. People still don't believe that one. So I grew up with, everybody. I was friends. I was kind of one of those guys in high school. I was just friends with everybody. I didn't have like one clique that I stuck with. Later, I think on senior year I did, but I kind of bounced around throughout lunch to different tables. So I went and hung out with the black guys. And my school was pretty segregated based on race. I will say that. That doesn't mean that you wouldn't find like a black person hanging out with white people. That's not what I'm saying. But it was true where like the blacks hung out with the blacks, the Hispanics hung out with the Hispanics, the whites hung out with the whites. And that did happen. And I kind of bounced around to everybody. It didn't matter to me who you were. And so anyways, the people I hung out with were just didn't matter on race. And so I didn't look at people, when people say like, you don't see color, like, of course I see a black person or an Asian person, but when I'm talking to you, that's like not in my mind. And I remember telling my buddy, he was in my room, we were eating lunch together one day, and he said something about Asian people and that he was Asian. He was talking about his Asian family or something like that with his mom and stuff like that. And I looked at him, and I'd known him for like, I think at this point, like 4 years. And I looked at him, I said, I'm not going to say his name, but I said, dude, I just realized that you're Asian. And when we're talking, I've been like, this is my work bestie, dude. I see him before work. I see him after work, during work, like all the time. His room was right across. We taught the same subjects, taught statistics. And I was like, dude, it just hit me now. Like, bro, you're like Asian. And I made the comment straight to his face after like he started laughing. And he was like really confused by it. And I said, no. I go, dude, I've hung out with all these races throughout my entire life. And it just doesn't like, it's not in my mind that I'm going, oh, I'm talking to an Asian guy. Just, I don't know if that makes sense. Cause some people, they don't understand that, or like, oh, I'm talking to a Hispanic guy or whatever. I just don't care, And don't get me wrong. I play in those stereotypes too. When somebody cuts me off on the highway, and I don't get road rage. Like I told you, it's really hard for me to get pissed. But when I do, it's like 0 to 100. And usually it's like if you're harming me or my family, or you're doing something like I get like, I'll kill you. I fucking flip, dude. And it's very rare. Like I said, you got to basically be harming somebody to get me to flip like that. Very rarely do I ever get mad. But when somebody cuts me off on the freeway, I'll be honest, I kind of look over and I'm trying to see who they are. And I have a good guess. I look, I see, okay, I see you driving a Toyota. A little Toyota sedan or a Honda Civic, and I kind of, I'm odds are odds, and I'm willing to play it. Now, am I wrong at times? Absolutely. Could it be an elderly white woman? Yep. Absolutely. Or just an elderly person in general. But you all know what we're referencing here and what we're talking about. But people say you're racist. I don't think it's racist. I think it's racially profiling is what it is. And again, times when I'm wrong. Mainstream media just posted something about Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, yeah, that is. I did see something earlier. Let me see if I can find that for us. I did read something earlier that they did post her allegedly making not a plea deal, but she had, God, what the hell do you call it? She wanted certain things. So one of the things she wanted was immunity, which would make sense for, if she's going to spill a bunch of stuff, she doesn't want to tack on more than what she's already doing and time spent. So the words conditions is what I was looking for. So let me see if I can find that for you guys. I did read that earlier today, a few hours ago, mind you. So let me see if I can get that going here really quickly. Let's see if we can find that. I don't know where I read that. I did read the article, and that's how I knew that information. Again, I always read articles throughout the day, and it helps me kind of show prep for the next day. Let me see here. Let's see if I can find it. Was it Fox who posted it? Let's see. Give me 1 second. Sorry. You know, for not having any news, oh, here it is. Yep, here it is. Gotcha. Boom, baby. All righty. So, Ghislaine Maxwell, we'll say Ghislaine, because when I say Ghislaine, it just sounds really bad. Ghislaine Maxwell. Immunity request denied by the House Oversight Committee. So the House Oversight Committee, led by Chairman James Comer, said it will not consider requests for Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney seeking immunity in exchange for her testimony to Congress. The former accomplice and girlfriend Jeffrey Epstein was subpoenaed last week to testify before Congress from prison as part of the probe by lawmakers seeking to uncover more information. Maxwell's attorney sent a letter to Chairman Comer indicating she would invoke her Fifth Amendment rights and stay silent in front of Congress unless an immunity request was agreed upon. So, well, there goes that. So she's just going to come out and basically not say anything. So it's just a waste of everybody's time at that point. In Maxwell's immunity request, her attorney offered clemency as a possible solution, indicating Maxwell would be willing and eager to testify openly and honestly in public before Congress if it were granted to her. The Oversight Committee will respond to Maxwell's attorney soon, but it will not consider granting congressional immunity for her testimony. In the letter to Comer, Maxwell's attorney said their client's testimony could pose both legal and security risks for the client, which is true. Maxwell's legal team also requested questions their client would be asked in advance for her testimony in front of Congress, but the oversight spokesperson did not directly speak to that request. Another request from Maxwell's attorney was that the deposition date be delayed until after the Supreme Court rules on Maxwell's latest bid for her appeal. On Monday, Maxwell's attorney asked the High Court to hear their client's appeal in her 2021 sex trafficking conviction. Now, they're salivating over there right now, and they're taking hold of this opportunity because they see how big of a deal this is for the American people to try to get information out there and see if she'll rat on somebody or a bunch of people. Now, allegedly, she did give the Deputy Attorney General a list of names. That's what I heard. Is that true? Not exactly sure. But you would be remiss to think, well, why would they not take advantage of this and pull all the strings of the legal system to try to get her the best deal possible? I don't blame them for doing it. Hell, if I was in that situation, I'd be doing the exact same thing. But I don't think they're going to make any deals with her. It's like, hey, if you want to just sit in prison and rot for 20 years, go right ahead. Maxwell should never be charged in the first place. In 2008, the United States government promised in writing that she would not be prosecuted. Maxwell's attorneys wrote in the correspondence to Comer, adding she did not receive a fair trial when convicted in the Southern District of New York for the trafficking case. I think there's certain cases where I don't think you could get a fair trial, where it's so popular that you are such a household name. It doesn't matter who's on the jury. Everybody's heard of you. Everybody knows who you are. They already have a certain bias against you. It's the same thing for Trump. If Trump ever went to a jury again, like he already had, I don't think he can ever get a fair trial. He's a former personality. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody has their likes and dislikes about him already. And it's not like a no-namer, right? It's not like you're walking into the courtroom and you're like, I've never seen this person before. I'm willing to hear them with an unbiased take. I don't think you can get that. So we'll see what the Supreme Court says, if they even hear it at all. But I don't know if that's what is that what you're referring to, Betts? Let's see here. I think it was Betts that mentioned it. I could be wrong. Matter of fact, let's do this. So this is one of the ads I was referencing, right? Like, oh, where would you see that Sweeney? I keep trying to say Sweeney Todd, but Sweeney's ad would come up on something like this. So if I were to hit play, right, you would get this ad right here. I'm not sure if that's what everybody was talking about in the chat. As Gen X, my whole life, I have been trained to only judge off of character and character only. Yeah, I think majority of us are, right? I think that's changed slightly, and I don't blame really anybody for it necessarily, because it's kind of been so much of our culture the last decade or so, especially since since Barack Obama got in office. He really pushed that stuff, especially with all the gun violence with the police and shooting unarmed black men. I put that in air quotes because most of them aren't even actually unarmed. But I think that's kind of when it started kicking off here. But I think it's the job of the parents, right? The parents are to inculcate those values in their kids, but parents just aren't parenting nowadays. I mean, and that's crazy. Any video you see about the education system on social media, you will hear people mention in the comment section, yeah, people just don't parent. I mean, hell, you see it anywhere you go, right? We were just at Whole Foods the other day, and just two kids just screaming and throwing a football around. I mean, young kids, they had to be like probably 12 or younger, screaming in this area where everybody eats. And I look over at my wife, I'm just like, and the parents just sitting on their phone, just not a care in the world, just on their phone, like just having a conversation. And I just looked at her, I'm like, it's just lack of parenting nowadays. It's crazy. Dude, if I was to ever even stand up at dinner, like on the couch, or, you know, the booth or whatever that you're sitting at, or if I was to ever run around, dude, my dad would beat the crap out of me so quick. I'd be smacked so hard, my head would spin. My mom used to say that. She used to say, quote, I will smack you so hard your head will spin, is what she used to say. That's where I get that quote from. That's my mom. She's probably watching right now. She knows what I'm talking about. You don't get that nowadays. And it doesn't have to be much, you know what I mean? Just go up to your kid and just flick him right in the lip. You know what I mean? If he's talking too much, look at him and just flick him right in his lip, right here. And you know what you say? I don't want to hear you talk. Nobody in this restaurant wants to hear you talk. Shut your mouth and eat your food. That's what you need to do. Just flick him right in his damn lip. He'll shut up. Or he'll cry. And if he wants to go cry, you know what? He gets to go sit in the car and then you give him another flick in the face. You ain't gonna hit him. I got him. There's little, look, everybody has pressure points. They have something that will do something to you. Trust me. I had a father. He didn't put up with crap. In reference to the Sweeney commercials, why is it always the ugly fat ones these days that have to ruin the fun for all of us normies? It's a fabulous question. It really is a fabulous question. Well, those are people that hate life, and they have to ruin it. I mean, it's like that for everything, right? They have to ruin the fun for the rest of us because they hate their life so much, and because they hate their life so much, they have to make you hate your life. That's how it works. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It is, but that's the world we live in. You know, I just realized we did not watch any long form content today. That's okay. That's okay. I was not expecting to talk this much, but I had a hell of a time. I can't believe it's already been over an hour. That's crazy, man. The morning show went by fast. Somebody called that out. I think it was Danielle called it out this morning. Somebody did. Dark Maga flew by, man. This is crazy. My dad just had the power stare. No need to hit you. Just felt bad for a moment. Yep. I have that look, man. I have that look of a don't you fuck with me look. By the way, I have adults that go, oh shit. That doesn't mean I'm a tough guy. That's not what I'm saying. But I have to look like don't mess with me right now. It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing in the sense of people know when to cut the shit out. But then the other side of it is you look kind of scary and upset all the time. You look kind of mad. And that's why normally outside, people always ask like, oh, why do you wear a hat all the time? Well, my wife likes me wearing a hat, one, because I look good in it. But second, it doesn't make me look like an asshole as much. As much. So that's why, truthfully, that's why I wear a hat a lot. It just kind of softens the okay, like this guy's, he's a little bit, he comes across a little bit nicer. Because when I'm bald, man, you all seen the picture. It just, yeah, you just seem a little bit more rough. Let me see if I have the photo here of the image. No, I don't. Oh well. But you all seen the picture I have on my website, I think. But anyhow, that's actually true. Why I wear a hat so much. But let me see what's going on here with my website. I need to update this thing. I was petrified of my pawpaw. Well, that sucks. But I mean, look, yeah, you're not there to be friends with your kid, right? I think later on in life you can, but your job as a parent is to raise that kid and to set them up so they'll be successful in life. Your job is not to be their friend, let them get away with stuff. You know, if you say cut it out, you cut it out the first time. I don't need to tell you again. Like you guys, I think got to my personality a little bit. I hate excuses. I don't like being lied to. And just tell me straight up what you think about something. I got the same hat, man. Hell yeah, baby. That's what. Do you have it on right now, Keith? If you don't have it on, Keith, what are you doing, baby? It's Dark Maga. The hat softens bald bread. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. My husband has the worst resting bitch face. He'll scare the paint off the wall. Yeah, I have that. I have to remind myself to smile as well. My weeks go by like days anymore. Months go by like weeks. Yeah, it's weird. You know, there was something I watched a video actually a few days ago on that about why like time goes by quicker. I mean, life just, I was thinking about like, man, I'm 36. I'm not saying I'm old, but it's just kind of sad because my family life expectancy for men is really short. Like I would say if you average it out, you're probably talking in the 50s, early 50s. If I make it past my early 60s, that's like it's a remarkable thing. So we'll kind of see here, but anybody here heard Tom McDonald's music? If not, you should try it. Yeah, I've listened to his music. Definitely. Tom McDonald's great. He has had a few hits. That's for sure. I'm not really big so much into rap. It's never really spoke to me. Like, you know, I listen to Eminem and stuff, but I'm just not into that type of music. It's gonna sound bad. It's trashy to me. Like there's good rap, right? There's rap that speaks to me, but that whole stuff like, you know, effing girls and calling them names, and it just doesn't. That's just trying to be ghetto, and you know, it's all hard. It's all gang and crip and walk blood. It's like it just doesn't do it for me. Like if you're somebody that thinks a piece of pavement and a street block is more important than your life, you're an idiot. It just is what it is. You think that those guys in your gang care about you. Those are the same guys that will leave you dead in the street and get away from gunfire. They're not going to the ones that are going to drag you back. Yeah, they leave that up to the first 48 detectives. When you work constantly, that's when times fly. Yep, he does rock and country. Oh, yeah. Tom McDonald? Am I thinking of a different guy? Hold on one second. Maybe I'm thinking of a different guy. Or are you saying he does rock and country as well? Hold on. Tom McDonald. I swear he has tattoos. This guy?
And you're a pawn, you a clown, better know where I stand. I'm the white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a what. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere.
You want to explain, Raymond? You want to explain?
Dog, we think that you suck. My Patriots, the crazy.
I think you mean he does rock and country as well. If this is the same guy, but I mean, it's Tom McDonald. That's the guy I was thinking of. Let's see what else, though. Maybe this is what you're referring to.
Are you living in America?
There's another one. Turn this stuff off, dude. That ain't my jam. I don't like that, dude. I don't like that at all. Just not into it. If that's them, that's great for them. It's just not my thing. I don't like it. If you missed it, by the way, there is a Spooky Adventures clip out of a UFO that we got here. So that's always fun. That was uploaded about 2 hours ago. We're trying to build up that channel a little bit. In the off chance the Bald Brad show goes to like every now and then uploads or whatever, in the off chance, again, that's a thing for February. We'll talk about it then if we even decide to do that. I'd like to get Spooky Adventures up. I have actually a lot of fun doing it. I should do it more, but I just really enjoy doing that stuff. Yes, that's the guy. Yeah. I'm glad you guys like it. I don't. Does the military allow face tattoos now? That must be new. No, I don't think so. They don't. Pete Hegseth actually brought back you have to shave now every day. So people are really upset with that. Because some people have a medical condition. Oh, look at this. Here you go. 8.0 earthquake near Russia.
That is 180,000 people right there. And that's on the water. Now, it's not directly exposed, but I don't know if the way it's situated here in an inlet might make things worse. Let me show you. So that's right here. So if we go to the map on the interactive map here, yes, this is, there it is. Wow. So this is a city of about 180,000 people here. Petropavlovsk, Kamchatsky. And according to the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, U.S. Tsunami Warning Center, there might have already been tsunami activity there. All right, I got to check a couple other sources here. So give me a moment. Let me check a couple things. I'll check some sources from Russia and see what we're hearing. Because, I mean, as you heard from the U.S. Tsunami Warning Center, if there was tsunami activity in Hawaii, it would take over 5 hours. But there could already be some in Russia right now. So let me check a couple of things here and see what is happening. I'm going to pull up some different sources here. I follow some Russian news sources. This is for Japan. They say waves of up to 1 meter are expected. This is this account here is it's an emergency news account. Here you go, right here. This is for Japan. Tsunami advisory in yellow. Estimated maximum height 1 meter there. Initial arrival time 10 o'clock Japan Standard Time. JST now is... Japan Standard Time now is 9:09. So there could be tsunami waves in these. That one right there, you can see eastern part of Pacific coast of Hokkaido. That says estimated initial
8.0
tsunami
will give you a
arrival
good
time
ride,
about
man. That's for
51
sure.
minutes.
That's a big
estimated
earthquake.
maximum tsunami height 1 meter. Okay, so that's for Japan. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's get back to the Russia question, because there could already be tsunami activity in Russia. We'll post something about that.
Let's see here. This is him live,
but I don't
right
see
now.
it on the USGS site yet, as posted yet. But they have the 8.0 there. Waiting to get another update from the U.S. Tsunami Warning Center. I just got one. I just saw one right here. New update.
I love when he gets news in. He gets all excited. I just got one. I just got. Wow.
Why does it say 8.7?
Damn,
is that
dude.
a typo? It says 8.7. Why does it say 8.7? That makes no sense. I think that's a typo. USGS is not saying 8.7. I'm very confused. It says 8.7. Why does it say 8.7? Why does this say 8.7? What's going on?
I love this guy.
What is happening?
If you don't follow him, you should.
The USGS has not said 8.7.
Steve
the U.S. Tsunami Warning Center is saying 8.7. Well, either they will correct this or not.
Here's his channel. Actually, I'll copy and paste his channel.
This just came out, hot off
really
the
fun
press.
guy to watch.
But it doesn't say, it
hard.
only says 8 up here. I'm wondering if this is a mistake. I'm wondering if they're going to correct this. Well, for now, it's either 8.7 or 8.
Is it exponential
breaking
for
news,
earthquakes?
Tsunami waves. Breaking news. Tsunami waves reaching more than 3 meters above the tide level are possible along some coasts of northwestern Hawaiian Islands and Russia. Okay, this is kind of confusing here. So, this is a new alert from the Pacific Tsunami Warnings, from the U.S. Tsunami Warning Center. But it says 8.7, which I'm quite confused about, so I don't know if it's some mistake.
I love it.
Let me post this real quick.
Alrighty. Well, I think we'll end there. If you want to check him out, that is, what is his channel name again? Agenda Free TV. He has about 36,000 people watching him. He's a fun guy to listen to. And look, he's a pretty honest guy. I got to say, he's somebody I follow. So make sure you go check him out. He's an honest guy. Again, it is agenda free. He doesn't have a bias. He's not there to BS you. Just kind of like, hey, I got the source. Here it is. If he doesn't have the rights to something, then he'll post it on his X page. So I actually really enjoy his channel quite a bit. But make sure you go ahead and toss him a follow. Agenda Free TV. And he's making bank, man. The guy makes a lot of money. His streams get a lot of donations. That's for damn sure. I appreciate everybody over at my end as well. Thank you for always checking out the Bald Brad Show. Brad with brother? Huh? Brad, oh no. People always think when they see this that there's alcohol in this. This is literally just Coke Zero. You guys know this because I talk so much. and I scream into the mic. I actually lose my voice really quickly. And so I kind of usually wet my whistle with that. And then I just got back on doing vitamins again. So that's what this is. And actually, I was planning on finishing this quicker so I could put my vitamins in some ice water here. But I'm trying to get a little bit more healthier, man. So I can't seem to drop the weight, dude. So I'm eating healthy. I feel fine. Well, I should take that back. I actually don't feel fine. This is something, you know, I don't really reveal this stuff. But I've been I don't feel sick. I feel it's almost like I think like I'm anemic is actually something I think I might have. I've been probably for the last month, this entire summer actually, since I've been off work, I have been just utterly exhausted. So like I'm talking, guys, like I'll sleep for like 10 hours and I'll wake up and I am still exhausted like I never went to sleep. So that's been going on. And if it doesn't come across to you, that's good. That means I faked it enough. Like I told you, a lot of this is entertainment. You don't see everything, nor should you. But I'm trying to get that dialed in to see. Now, there's a lot of things going with that is, iron needs vitamin C to help your body absorb and all these other things. So that's why I'm trying to get back on my vitamins a little bit. And like I said, I eat healthy, man. I don't eat a bunch of garbage. You guys know me. But so we're trying things. We'll see. But still running, still doing that, still running and walking, stuff like that. But I don't know. Anyways, that's there for you. Go to an endocrinologist. I probably need to, but you know how guys are. We don't go to the doctors. I had blood work. That's the thing. My blood work wasn't too long ago, and everything came back stellar. So that's what's kind of odd about it. Now, blood work doesn't always pick up, what's it called? Ferritin levels, I think is what it's called. So it doesn't always get picked up. Now, I would be shocked if I was anemic, but I don't know what the hell is going on. But dude, I've been like just dragging feet, man. I've talked about, okay, let's get into it. We'll take a moment here. If you want to know, this is something that's been going on for quite some time where, like I used to go to Disneyland with my wife all the time. We used to go like once or twice a week for a lot of years. We don't anymore, and I just like see all these people walking around all day. I'm talking like obese people, man. I'm like, wow, just look at it. They're fucking full of energy. And I look at my wife, I'm like, dude, I am dead. Like, I am dead. Like, dude, I'm exhausted. Like, I could sleep on a bench right now. Just utterly exhausted. Mind you, I'm not there for the entire time. I'm there for like 3 hours. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm finished. And I looked at her, I said, how is it that these people are like 3 times my size and they're still going like everything's fine? And I'm fucking tired as shit. She doesn't have that problem. So that's what's going on. So somebody mentioned testosterone. I've thought about it. I thought about maybe looking at I got to do something. I thought about thyroid too. Whoever Betts put that in there. I thought about all of it. Just got to go get it checked out. But yeah, thyroid was something I looked at a few months ago, actually, was thyroid. So something I should probably talk to somebody about. It sucks, dude. It sucks being fucking tired all the time. And I don't know if you guys have noticed. Look, I'll show you really quick. You see this right here? I did not used to have this not that long ago. So let me actually show you. I picked up on it just the other day. And I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, yeah, man, if you look at my older videos, I didn't have I didn't look like this. So let me kind of show you an old one. You guys want to see an old video? Holy crap, this is so embarrassing. Holy crap. Here you go. Hold on a second. You guys are going to get a kick out of this shit. This is the second video I ever made. Second video I ever made. Almost 100 views. By the way, this feeds into what I've been telling you guys for a while now. Almost 100 views. Actually, I think it is 100 videos on this video from 4 years ago when I had no subscribers. I think I had 3 when I made this video. Same hat, by the way. That hat that's in that video is this hat here. I just put a patch on it because I got a lot of shit for wearing Nike back then. Remember how Nike people are like, oh, you're not a Republican. I eat enough protein. Yeah, I do. I weigh my stuff. I do 200 grams of 200 grams of beef or turkey, and then I do 200 grams of rice multiple times throughout the day. I do my macros. I do all that stuff. Eat enough carbs as well. Yep. So, folks, can we do a side by side? Look at this.
Under God and as well as Americans. The interview kind of segues into Gina talking about Disney and Lucasfilm employees slandering her on their websites. And I think this is starting to give us kind of an insight on what this company is all about and kind of how they're treating their employees on a personal level behind the scenes, let alone what is going on public, which I'll get to in a little bit.
Because I mean, we got down to this like statement within like
hear the hurt and the pain that Disney, Lucasfilm, the employees.
These are the videos I used to make. Yep. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's me. Anyways, look a little bit different. Plus your voices changed. That is more of my personality though. And I remember somebody left a comment and they said, I like your material, but I don't like the way you come across. It's too boring. You're too quiet. You're not entertaining enough. So that's why you see this and more of that. If you go back, they're all up there. All those old videos are still there. You could go back to the older videos and see what things used to look like. That takes a trip down memory lane there. Let me tell you, holy Lordy, can you believe that? Jeez Louise. Actually, let me go back. Let me show you the first video I ever made. The first video almost has more views than what I get currently. It always blows my mind. My first video has more views than what I get currently on the Bald Brad Show with over 100,000 subscribers. You think we're being silenced? Here's the first video I've ever made.
Everyone, I am the Bald Brad, the host of the Bald Brad Show, and I just got done listening to Gina Carano and Ben Shapiro, and I got a lot to say about that.
Oh, it's our original intro. Dude, I bought the license for that song and they came back to me and copyrighted me like a year in. So that's why the show now is different. The show outro is this one now. It's a little different.
Welcome to my very first episode here on YouTube. It's more of an introduction than it is an episode. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, but I got to say I am fired up. I am ready to go. I am ready to start this channel. I am ready to start this show, whether people like it or not. I've been waiting 5+ years to do this, and it is now finally coming to fruition, all because of Ben Shapiro, Gina Carano, Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens. All these people that inspired me over 5 years has now finally come to a point to where I feel comfortable, I feel ready to do this. It might not seem like a big deal to some, but I was an actor before. I am still part of the Screen Actors Guild. I was an accountant. I am currently a high school math teacher. And I got to say, as somebody that grew up and has worked in the culture of the left, there is nothing more fearful than losing your job just because of the ideas that you carry. You can.
Holy shit. Oh, God. Good for that young man. But anyways, just again, comparison here. I guess you kind of do have it a little bit. I don't know. Not as much beard though. Hey, what's going on, John? Brad, we love your content, brother. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. You never know if people enjoy what they're listening to. It crosses my mind after every show. I kind of do a self-reflection. I go, I wonder if like that was good. Like, did they have fun? Was I a little harsh? Was I an asshole? Was it boring? Like all that stuff crosses my mind. Fired up. You look like you're 17, especially. Yeah, if I were to shave, you guys see me shave. It shaves off, no pun intended, a lot of years. That's for damn sure. We're gonna call those early videos the babyface Brad shows. Yeah. I haven't looked at those in a while, but it's crazy. At least I'm not bullshitting you when I say like, man, how is it that I have the same amount of views and my channel has grown exponentially over 4.5 years? Like if you look at it, it's all there. I mean, there's some videos that did well, but those videos that did well, I actually paid for advertising on those. It doesn't make any sense, man. It's almost impossible for that to take place, by the way, mathematically, that your viewership would actually stay uniform for the entire 4.5 years, but your subscribers go up exponentially. I'm not saying that, by the way, now I'm getting into my nerdy out stuff on statistics. Let's say you had a weak correlation like a weak correlation between your viewership and subscribers, because that's what YouTube says, right? They say, well, there is not a very good correlation or connection between your subscribers and your viewer count. Okay, we'll totally grant that for a second. We'll totally grant that for a second. It actually still is not possible, because there is some sort of correlation. It's just a weak one, but there is a connection to be made there. And to say that subscriber count has no correlation to videos is wild to me. Like that is wild to me. So yeah, it doesn't actually make any sense. It's a bunch of BS. So, and that gets in your head, man. Let me tell you, it's gotten in my head quite a bit. YouTube can't stand conservative content. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I wasn't going to talk about this today. We were going to save this for a down the road. We're still going to be here for a while. I've mentioned this to you guys before. It's been heavy on my heart, man. We do have to figure out February what we're going to do with the show. We do. Do we continue doing it every single morning? Do we do it maybe 3 times a week? The risk outweighs the benefits is the thing. We don't make enough here, you guys, to risk my job. You know what I mean? Now, could I get a job somewhere else? Yeah, but you know, my skill set is accounting. And if I go back into accounting, I just don't have time for this. I mean, you see how much Jeff works, right? And I'd be at a public firm and I'd be working probably more than that. So it's just we don't pull in enough revenue here. We make money, don't get me wrong. Like, we make money. It's great, but not enough to where if I got fired, like, I'd be comfortable with that. So something we have to think about. That's why I want to get Spooky Adventures up and running, because look, if we can get that up and running, I can make enough money on that channel, because that channel actually performs really well analytically. It has nothing to do with politics. And the hope is with that YouTube doesn't censor me. Then we could do that. The other thing I've thought about is, and I'll show you guys this. I don't know if I've ever shown you my restore and repair channel. I used to have this channel pre-COVID. And I used to have this channel pre-COVID, and I was like, actually, speaking of Russia, I was in the editor-in-chief of the Esquire magazine actually caught onto my channel. And I used to repair these old Tonka trucks. I'm trying to see if I can find the video for you. But I used to repair these old Tonka trucks. And anyways, the channel's still there. And I thought about, maybe I should just, I was literally talking to my wife about this like last night. Like, maybe I should just go back and start doing that channel again. So here's the stuff I used to do. You guys, this has 270,000 views almost. This channel was doing really well. I just stopped uploading. So you see how I have 7,000 subscribers here? This is my channel. If you weren't familiar, you go watch the videos. The videos are still there. 270. I was killing it on this channel. And I was using my mom's place, her backyard, to do this outside, which you're not supposed to do outside, by the way. But I would restore old stuff. So I'd buy this for cheaper, for free, and I would restore them, and I would sell them for like $500 on eBay. So I'll kind of show you I would get in there, man. I would disassemble it. You can see my hairy ass arms. And then I would sandblast it. And then I would go in and get it all stripped down, look good, right? And then I would powder coat it. I made my own powder coater. And I learned how to powder coat, and I learned how to nickel and plate stuff. So I made myself my own little box here. And then I jimmy rigged the hell out of this smoker. So what I did with this smoker was let's see if we open it up. I had to take out the insides, and I put in like fire insulation that you get on like those pizza ovens. And then I had to cut out some of this stuff, and I cut the shit out of my leg. I was at a store like a Lowe's, and I was picking up this metal, right? Dude, be careful. This stuff is sharp. So I'm walking, and you know how guys do, right? When we work on stuff, we'll will, wear sandals and flip-flops. So I was wearing shorts and flip-flops, and I'm walking through the store carrying this like this. I mean, this stuff's pretty big, and I'm feeling like wet, like water running down my leg. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I look down, dude. This nicked my leg, and blood was fucking flowing all over my foot. So anyways, that happened. So I Jimmy rigged the crap out of that. And I'll show you the before and after. I want to say I sold this truck for like a few $100s. It's a rare truck. There you go. Here's a before and after. But this is what I did. This is what I actually enjoy doing. Find purpose in life. So I would restore these and bring them back to life. This is my channel that I used to have. Still do. Should upload. I miss it. It's a lot of work, though. It's just this doesn't happen in like a weekend. I had a Patreon. Peep, dude. One lady gave me like $3,000 for my Patreon, which is super generous. She allowed me to get all this stuff that I had because I was really limited in what I was able to do. And her investment allowed me to get that powder coating stuff, get the smoker and all that stuff. And, got a piece of plywood here, nothing special. But a gorgeous looking toy. So, yeah, I ended up selling it on eBay for, like I said, I want to say a few $100. But again, if you want to check out the channel, again, there's a lot of stuff here. Look at 74,000 views. Now I think you understand a little bit where my frustration comes from of how is it that I was able to build this channel originally and get thousands of views, right? 154,000, my first video, 11,000, 12,000, 112,000, 131,000, almost 270,000, 74,000, right? How is it I'm able to build these types of channels early on? And you're going to tell me, YouTube, that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about in terms of what I'm expecting viewership-wise? How many hours it take to restore that truck? I don't remember. I don't know how many hours. I actually don't remember on that one. I did this like fun little thing. Hopefully you guys are okay with me showing you this stuff. It's been a while since I've looked at it. I'm kind of reminiscing. I did like a trailer for my, I did like a holiday Christmas edition. So like, I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. This truck right here, I brought back to life. But I made it like a Christmas holiday edition. So it came out, I think, on Christmas. This is a trailer that I made. I made this myself, this logo in Maya. Remember I told you guys in high school I did 3D animation? I made this myself, this whole intro. I was so proud of myself. I did that. That's me. This holiday season, one man in a box, a 1960s Tonka restoration. Can it be restored back? You have to find these, though. They're not easy to find. Ones that are really messed up like this. Oh God, I miss it. Oh boy. So anyways, yeah, I did that. That's a thing. Oh yeah, there's my dogs. I told you an animal guy. We'll watch this one. Might as well watch the shit. We're here as it is. I'm kind of enjoying this a little bit. These are the videos I used to make. before I met you guys. Back on the coffee. Always had to have the coffee. This is the 4th of July episode. That's true. Everyone was still asleep when I was filming this. That's absolutely true. This is a sandblast machine. God, I Jimmy rigged the crap out of this. So that's Michaela. That's my mom's dog. That's Megan. Is Megan still around? No, I don't think Megan's still around. I could be wrong. My mom's probably screaming at the chat right now. Maybe Megan's still around. There's Tippy, little shithead. I love her to death. She's a rescue kitten. I didn't remember this. Okay, this might seem like a small object, but it holds something very significant. My grandfather was on Pearl Harbor and fought in the Pacific in the USS Reed. My father served the United States Navy on the USS Waddell. Both my grandfather and fathers were on ship destroyers. The 4th of July is one of the most important holidays to me. This restoration is something I've been wanting to do for a year. I want to share this significant moment with all of you. I'm thankful to all the men and women who fought for our freedoms. Today we celebrate the Independence Day. And so basically what I did was I redid a flag holder. And then I went and put the flag on the house. And you can see my fat ass up there. my girlfriend at the time filmed. Look at that booty! By the way, I painted this whole house myself. My parents' house, I stripped this whole fucking house by hand. Now you can see I still got some edging to do here. I sanded this whole house. Do you know how many houses I've painted in my life? Because my parents have rental properties. I sanded this whole thing to bare wood with my fucking bare hands and painted this shit myself. Whole house. It's so stupid. I had fun though. You're damn right that I have shirts made. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. I still have it in here. Same shirt. Anyways, all silly. But anyways, did that channel. That was fun. That was a trip down memory lane. Really cringy, but it was fun to do. Like I said, I woke up one day and the channel was blowing up and I couldn't figure out why. And I had an Instagram for it. Actually, I still have an Instagram for it. And a verified guy followed me. And yeah, he's the editor-in-chief of Esquire in Russia. The dude's a huge guy. And I have a friend that lives in Russia. So I asked her, and I haven't talked to her in years. I'm like, hey, this guy, do you know this guy? She's like, oh, yeah, that guy's huge here. I was like, well, he just shouted out my channel. So that's why one of the videos did well. Alrighty. Well, that's a good looking flag right there. Yeah. And then it blew off. The wind can get crazy. I'm relatively close to the beach. And it pulled the flag out of the freaking thing and flew off. So it's not there anymore. The holder is. The holder looks great. The thing is built like a freaking... Because when you powder coat something, that stuff does not chip. So here's the thing that you don't see in some of those videos. I've powder coated an entire car. I need to emphasize this. If you screw up powder coating, because it's a chemical, it will boil and stuff like that. I don't know how to explain how on there it is. It's not it does not chip. So when you're trying to get that off, a week's process. And I've had that happen a couple times where I don't show them the videos, but I've had to start the whole project over again. I would say on half of those videos, I've had to fix the paint job over and over again because I was doing it outside. You're not supposed to be doing this shit in like 100-degree weather. And that's how I had to make do. I didn't have a garage. So that's why I don't film. I don't have a garage here, so I can't make... Guys, I would be doing those videos every night and working on them and doing the Bald Brad show if I could. I just don't have a place for it. And I was making enough on that channel where I thought about getting like a... I thought this crossed my mind. I thought about going to Home Depot and getting one of those sheds. You know what I'm talking about? Those sheds that you walk in, you put your lawnmower stuff in there, and just having that shipped and putting that in my my mom's backyard. I'll put an AC unit in there, and I thought about making that a little studio and just doing restorations again, but I don't know. She lives kind of far, and I don't want to bother her, take up our space. But anyways, thanks for the trip down memory lane. That was kind of fun. Bald Brad reunion. What? Bro, gotta be honest, I love this. Sweet. I don't know if you're talking about my stuff, but yeah, check that out. Restore and Repair. It's a fun little channel. All right, well, that being said, Tippy Tippy is my parents were walking down. All of our animals, other than our dogs, are pretty much like all of our cats. We've had so many animals, you guys. That's why I don't have one. I've had to put so many animals down. Tippy's still thriving. She's still around. I saw her like a few weeks ago. Tippy is... I'm trying to describe her personality. She's like, I don't care about you personality, but I do love you, but I'm not going to show that I love you, but I'll come around you and want pets every now and then. But when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. She comes out in and out. She's a whole thing. She's cute, but she's a little shit. Should do a sleep study, Brad. That too. I thought about it. Using all that paint, doing the sanding in California might be illegal with all our stupid regulations. There was a video that I made, and if you watch the videos, you will see it. I actually, I painted. So my father had a bunch of trees in the backyard. He had a avocado tree, peach tree, grapefruit tree, orange tree, lemon tree, and all that stuff. And so I would, some of this, before I had a powder coater, I would use spray paint. I get the paint that you could use on cars and stuff like that, but I'd spray it. And in the background, there's a orange tree. People lost their shit, you guys, about me spraying a toy car with spray paint because they were worried about the tree. Mind you, it didn't even get on the tree. The wind blew it off. The tree's in the background. You guys, I'll give you an example. I'll never forget this. People were telling me in my comment section to cut off my hands and go delete myself over that. I will never forget that. That was like one of the first crazy kind of comments I was getting, was these environmentalists coming on my video because they were worried about the tree. Spray paint getting on a tree. I'll never forget that. You should go cut off your bleeping hands and delete yourself. By the way, there's more. There was more, but people are crazy. That's one thing. If you get on social media, you have to be able to take it. Yeah, you get a lot. You guys, please understand, I have filters on a lot of my stuff, like my social media. It doesn't get to me at all, actually, believe it or not. It sounds really weird, but people coming after me does not. It phases me when it's threats that are harmful. That bugs me because I don't like when it puts my friends and family in jeopardy. But me personally, it does not affect me. But if you guys only knew probably every hour, legitimately the things that people write to me that are evil, heinous, rude, I think you would be blown away. Yeah, we'll just keep it at that. You don't see them in the comments because I usually will block those people or remove them, or there's a filter so you don't ever see them. But they're there. Oh, trust me, I see them every day, every hour. But it just doesn't get to me. So you got to have thick skin. Brad was called a racist bigot last night. Yep. That means you're doing something right. Yeah, when you get called that by the left. But you got to be careful. These people will tear your life apart, you guys. Hey, what's going on? Pat was over at Pat, or is still on over at Kick. That's why I said we have to accept assess the risk involved. Because what these people will do is they'll clip you out and they'll just go attack your employer. And your employer's going to let you go and you can't blame them for it, you know? I can't find the restore. Oh, okay. Let me give you guys a link for the Restore and Repair channel. Let me find it for you really quick. I haven't posted obviously in quite a while. So let me, I'll give you guys a link to it. Go check those out. Yeah, they're old, man. I wasn't even living here when I did these videos. These videos are really old. All right, there's the link, Restore and Repair. And for those over at Rumble, you can have Restore and Repair. For those over at Kick, there's Restore and Repair channel. Actually, let me share this story with you really quick. This Tonka truck. This is the first video I made. This story. So this Tonka truck is mine. When I was a kid. Like a little kid, dude, this had to be like 7 or younger. So you're talking 1993 probably is when I lost this thing. I lost this thing in the backyard. Now, my parents didn't upkeep their backyard. It looks nice right now because I think when I filmed this, I think my father had already passed. And so I had some guys come in and take care of the backyard and clean it up. Well, remember I told you there's all these trees. Well, certain areas were really overgrown. This sucker was right under the lemon tree, and it was like the lemon tree had started growing around it. You would have never found it. So anyways, the guys found it, and I was like, I got to restore this thing. So it's one of the first things I restored was this Tonka truck. It looked like this thing's legit. You can see what it looks like when I was done with it. I filmed this with my old iPhone, by the way. But this is what it looks like now, or did look after when I was done with it. Pretty crazy, right? It did not look like when you saw it when you got it. That's I made it new again. That's the first thing I ever restored in my life, by the way. But the parts that bug me is right here. There's just so much corrosion that I didn't know enough on how to fill it. I would have probably done it a little bit more like if I knew about how to body stuff like the paste that you could put on there and sand it out, I would have. But this thing was bad, man. This thing was really bad. But we got it fixed up. It's still there. Look at that thing. Jeez, gross, dude. But if you like restoration stuff, like I said, I brought it all back to life. There's spiders in there and everything. I think it was disgusting, dude. Yeah. Crazy. Anywho, all right. Enough of that. Brad, I'm a bodyman / paintless dent guy. Well, there you go. You would like these videos and you would love to watch me struggle and not know what the hell I'm doing. So that was a thing. But anyways, okay, well, I'm a bounce now. I'd like to go eat dinner. I also have to work out too. Thank you guys for always indulging me. Appreciate the love and kindness you always show me. We got a great community here. We're not going anywhere. Let me tell you, I built up this channel far too long to just stop doing something with it. The question is, what do we do with it February? And that's a question we'll come around as a community and we'll kind of figure it out. Because as I mentioned, we gave ourselves 5 years to make this to the level of which if I did lose my job, we'd be able to support ourselves. We're not there. Okay. Nowhere near it. Not even close. So we have to figure something else out. And now, is that me doing vlogs on here and changing it up and doing fun stuff like going to Disney and doing stuff that maybe, switch it, that had nothing to do with politics. Maybe that's the switch up. You know what I mean? Go and being like one of those Disney vloggers or, I don't know. A gaming channel. We'll see when we get there. We'll see. We built up too good of a community to end. But all right, with that being said, we'll be back here tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. We'll also be back Thursday for another, I almost said Spooky Adventures, for another, what do you call that? Jesus, what are we doing right now? I sound like Joe Biden. For another Dark Maga. Holy Lordy. Dark Maga. On Thursday, they'll be open to everybody. With that being said, see you in a few hours, folks. Take care of one another. God bless you.